Excellent. So we're ready to start. If anyone else joins, I'm just going to let them in. But today's webinar really is titled Courage to Confidence. And you're going to see why I titled it that way as we go through it. But there's a myth out there, right? That we need to have confidence first. Or I don't know if it's a myth or what we actually say. We need to have confidence before we do something. And the reality really is that courage comes first. The courage to do, because the action comes first, right? Once we go ahead and do something that we are afraid of doing, that gives us the courage to do it, right? And also, once we're done with it, that gives us the experience of, okay, that was okay. Let me try it again. And that way we kind of gain confidence or regain it. So let me see. Okay, here we go. So really, how often do you wait to feel confident before you act? um, Confidence, as I said, rarely shows up first. We need to build that confidence through action. Maybe when we were young, and I have a couple of examples that I'm going to share with you guys, we just did things without thinking that much, or just being overwhelmed by trying to do something. But the reframe really that we need to have to regain that confidence is first to have the courage so we can build the competence, and that will give us the confidence to then move forward. So again, I don't know if you want to share in the chat, I'm trying to find my chat here, or if you want here you go. I don't know if you want to share in the chat. Is there something that you've been waiting for confidence to be able to go ahead with it? Um, if you guys want to just type it in the chat or maybe come off mute, I'm okay with that as well. As I said, it's a very small. Welcome back, Kate.
Thank you.
It's a very small group. So, is there anything that you have been waiting for to get the confidence to do it, or anything you want to share with the team? As I was preparing this webinar, and as you guys are thinking about it, I'll share one thing. I was just thinking about some of the stories that I'm going to share later on in the deck, and I'm like, oh man, those were big steps that I took. I haven't had that much courage to do things lately. And then I started laughing at myself because in January, I made the decision not to go back to corporate. I mean, my layoff story is all over LinkedIn, so you guys probably have seen it already. And thinking back, it took so much courage to say, I've never been an entrepreneur, but guess what? I can do this. And I launched my own coaching business. So I have to tell you 100%, I was not confident. I just decided I want to do this. I was passionate about it. And I took a deep breath, mustered the courage, and pushed forward. And that's where I am today. I'm so excited. And everybody that has talked to me recently knows I'm very excited about that. So really what I want to transmit to you through this webinar is just have the courage to do that thing that you are overthinking about. And that's going to give you the confidence to do more, to do bigger. And again, don't start with a huge thing, right? I'm not asking anyone to go from feeling not confident at all to just quitting your job and starting your career in a different area. That's what I did, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is just pick something that kind of doesn't make you feel very comfortable and just do it. And then that's going to build your confidence with time. And that really
Yeah,
is what
so
this is.
Vanessa, for me, it's is reaching out to executives I don't know. and talking to them about their company. So I'm in the biotech pharmaceutical world,
Hmm.
and there's all sorts of innovation going on all the time. So it's important to know who's doing what and keeping up to date. So it's not like it's a foreign thing to do. But right now I'm unemployed, so I'm feeling less confident
Hmm.
about normal conversations that I would have in my day-to-day job if I were working.
Yeah.
So just kind of
So if
stuck
you
on
don't
that.
mind sharing, what's stopping you, right? What is the part that gives you that queasy feeling?
I think it's I think it's because I'm transitioning. I'm doing the opposite of you. So I'm had been consulting and doing the entrepreneurial thing for 9 years as I helped my parents transition. And so now that I'm available to work full time again, I'm going back to full time corporate, which I'm excited about. But I don't have those same um, recent skills. I've been doing
Hmm.
the work, but on a contracted basis. So
Hmm.
I know I can do the work, but I feel that I
Yeah.
don't have the same confidence going forward that I would have coming straight out of corporate, going into a new corporate.
Yeah. No, I get that. And I think my 2 cents there would be to think about, I don't know what my computer decided to do, to think about what's going to happen if you don't reach out, right? When you think about, oh my God, it makes me nervous to reach out, and I know that nervousness, right? It makes me very nervous to reach out cold to people saying, hey, I can help you. But you know what? If you don't reach out, you're never going to get the yes. If you reach out, you have an option of a yes or a no. And so maybe start with someone that it's closer to you, or you know a little bit, or I would say start smaller if you can, or just do it, and then see what happens, right? And it's not like you need to reach out to everyone at the same time. Do one, and build that confidence, and then think about what went well in the car, what went not so well, and how are you going to improve the not so well? And how are you going to make sure you do more of what went well? And use it as a learning experience. The next actually webinar is going to be on growth mindset. And I'm all about growth mindset right now. And that's what it is, taking failure, which is not really failure, as an opportunity to learn. And it's tied to confidence, right? Because if you really go with an open mind of learning, the confidence is there, right? Because it's never a failure, it's an opportunity to learn and to get better and do it again. So that would be um, my 2 cents in that
I like it.
situation.
Thank you.
Sure. Let me share it again because I don't know why my computer decided to stop. Okay. So and thank you for that, Kate. I do really appreciate it. So this and I would love to hear your thoughts, guys, on this one, because I read this Harvard research where after 40, wisdom becomes a strategic advantage. I think we can all agree on that, right? And then they say Harvard research shows women confidence peaks in their 50s. And I started to think about all the women I'm talking to lately, and so many of them, their confidence is on the floor. So I think the potential for confidence may peak. But one of the issues we have is that we've been stepped on for so long, or we've had so many very hard experiences to overcome, that our confidence, for one reason or another, maybe a layoff, maybe a out of the business, or out of corporate for a while. I've been talking to women also that just want to go back to work after maybe a decade or so, of not working. And how do we build that back up, right? And I think part of this is holding on to that strategic advantage and really doing a lot of that positive thinking of saying, you know what? Yes, I have a lot of wisdom. I've learned so much. I know so much. I may have gaps on A, B, C, but guess what? Those are my opportunities for learning. So if I go for an interview where they highlight that I have a gap, I would highlight the fact that that's my opportunity for learning. And that is going to keep you engaged, interested, and growing with the company as you learn those skills. And as long as you have the confidence, or you're projecting it, sometimes we're projecting it before we have it. But again, that takes a lot of courage, and that's going to give you the confidence. Um, you say, you know what, I'm not worried about learning that. I have what it takes. I have the skills, the learning skills, and I want to succeed with you. And again, it's how we reframe it, right? And then after a conversation like that, guess what? You can have more confidence the next time you have that. So, what I'm saying is, hold on to the wisdom and the strategic advantage more than you do hear and listen to that voice that tells you, but you don't have this, or but you haven't done that. But that little but, just kick it back. Build on the wisdom, build on how much you've done and how much you know, and open up yourself to learning for what's a gap. And so, again, I like giving me micro action prompts, right? And encouraging you guys to make this work even after the webinar. So if you can write down one way your age gives you an advantage or an edge over younger leaders, um, journaling is powerful. Most of us don't do it. I'm guilty. I'm learning. But a lot of times, just writing it down puts your thoughts in perspective. And if what you write down it's positive, it's going to continually build that positive mindset. To do next slide. Okay, here we go. So this is one of the stories that I love telling because I worked with this leader, Maddie, who came to me after a super devastating, she's in her mid 40s, and she came to me after a super devastating call with a powerful HR executive. Go figure. This executive was very harsh and abrasive in the way that she treated everyone. So she didn't feel necessarily singled out, but she this did eat up into her confidence, into her ability to even talk during that meeting. She felt attacked during most of the meeting, and even though she knew the facts and she knew this HR person she was working with, she Maddie does deployment of HR systems to the company she works for. So she knew her stuff, and she knew that this HR leader did not. And what she was talking about was really not true. And she was just trying to push her own agenda in bringing this external consultant. And so Mary came to me with her confidence on the floor, if you will, and asked me to help her. She had another meeting in about a month, about 4.5, 5 weeks later, and she wanted to show up in a better, I guess, a little bit more confident, so she could actually defend not only herself, but her team as well. And maybe not just defend, but really bring the truth up to light and what was happening. So I coached her for about 5 weeks. We looked again at her superpower, her wisdom, her knowledge. We talked about what she did know. We talked about the specific examples that this HR person brought up, and how could Maddie have answered, right? How could she have used that as an opportunity to rebuke in a way that Maddie's personality is, she's a very sweet person, right? She will never come across harsh. She will never be able to just stand up and be abrasive. So we work together with what are the phrases and what are the things she could say to feel comfortable about what she was saying, but still say, no, that's not true. You've no idea what you're talking about, and this is the truth. That's not the way she said it. Clearly, it was not her personality, but she said it nonetheless. And after the next meeting, and I get goosebumps every time I talk about this, um, after the next meeting, she was able to bring up to light the truth. She was able to bring up to light everything her team was doing. And after the meeting, other leaders came to her and said, wow, the way you managed this meeting was incredible. It was not confrontational, but you brought up what was needed during the meeting. And when other people came to talk to her, this leader said to them, we all need to learn from how Mary managed this. And again, all it took, I tell you, is going back to her superpower, going back to really building up what she knew and talking about what makes you freeze and how do we overcome it. Went through techniques of maybe writing 2 or 3 words down. So when the time came to talk, because this woman was like blah 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 blah, there was no moment, right? But once there was a pause, we practiced what kind of words she could use to now asked for for the time to speak, and also she would write down certain keywords that would spark her thought back up, and avoid that blank. So again, this is a story of courage and a story of confidence. After that meeting, I have to say, Maddie said, "Oh my God, this went well. I would be able to do it again." But her next question was, do I want to put myself in that situation? And that was a different conversation, right? But the courage, and this gave her also the courage to even think about, maybe this is not what I want. Um, in any case, uh, if you guys have any comments or questions, please chime in. Otherwise, I'll just keep on the presentation. So this goes back to, what do you tell yourself before a high stakes moment? And that is why I loved your question, Kate, because you set up my entire presentation with your comment initially, right? And self-talk shapes behavior. I don't know if you guys follow Tony Robbins or not. I have recently become a very, very big fan. And he talks about the power of what we tell ourselves and how it shapes our behavior. If we show up in a meeting with hesitation, with negative thoughts, with already feeling like we're going to fail before we even ask, guess what? The person in front of you can say, can feel that, can know what's going on, and so those negative thoughts are going to come across. But if you come to the meeting with having that positive pep talk to yourself, it's going to go a lot better. Because I read a very long time ago that power pose, right? Like Wonder Woman, just before a meeting when nobody can see you, just go to the bathroom, do the power pose and feel powerful, and then go to the meeting or pick up the phone. And that definitely shapes the way you show up initially. And the first few minutes of the meeting is going to shape up how you feel about yourself through the entire discussion. So the reframe really changes everything, right? Um, and so again, the micro action for you guys is, notice what is the one limiting thought. And that's what I was asking you, Kate, about. And I said, what do you think about when you say, oh, I don't know if to reach out to this person or not, or I'm afraid to do this, or, and that's not say I'm afraid, but I hesitate to. And just take a deep breath and remind yourself of everything you know. Tell yourself that you have a growth mindset, a learning mindset, and choose courage and make that call. Another phrase that I said a lot for years was, we're all people, right? I was super afraid of this really high up senior director that then came VP of the medical team. Again, he was a physician and this all powerful person. And I was a project director at the time. And I would really feel very nervous every time I would go talk to him. And then for one reason or another, we became friends. And I met his wife, and we had a couple dinners together. And I realized at that table, dinner table, one day it came to me, we're all people. He was talking about his grandson and this and what he was doing, and he was just a person. And his way of communicating with me at work did not change one bit. But I understood that, right? We're all people. And sometimes when leaders choose to be harsh, it's their own limiting beliefs that are doing that for them to show up like they need to be bigger than you. So just remember that and choose courage. It will disarm that probably. Um, so these are, and I'll go very briefly through these. Some other early career courages. I landed my first job in the CRO business as a CRA, a clinical research associate. It's like a very low level. I think you're all in the industry. Maybe you probably know what I'm talking about. I saw an ad in the newspaper that tells you how old I am for a job that required 2 years of experience in clinical research. And I was like, I don't know what clinical research is. I'm a molecular biologist and I did my research in plants. I called a friend that I heard her, a friend of a friend of a friend told me she works in clinical research. And I was like, what is it? Tell me about it. It is for a CRA job. I showed up at the meeting, at the interview, and I was lucky. The head of the office in Buenos Aires, I was in Argentina at the time, had also gone to my high school, and I had my high school ring on, and we talked about the teachers and everyone at the school for the entire interview, and I got the job. Let me tell you, the first day at the job, I thought I would never be able to do it. And then courageous step after another, I gained the competence that gave me the confidence to then become an executive director. So I went from I'll never do this job to a very long career in the industry. So again, that was not from the first courageous step was to say, you know what, I'm just going to show up for the interview. They say you could be a biologist and this and that. I matched kind of like the other things, and I showed up anyways. The beauty of being in your 20s. But I think about that and really gives me power to do more now when I feel like saying, you know what am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. Why am I doing this? I take power from that courage when I was younger. Um, I
Vanessa,
didn't want,
before you move on,
yeah,
it's Joanna. Can you hear me? I just
yeah.
wanted to tell you that that story of yours right there, because like I've seen it before from you, um, actually gave me the confidence to apply for a job that just so you all know, I'm out of work as well, but I've been in the industry for 25 years. Started off as a CRA like Vanessa, um, and also came from the lab. So it gave me the confidence to just apply for a position that required 2 years of data management experience. And I know you're kind of familiar with that as well, moving from, X role into, because your
Mm-hmm.
last role was in data management, something that, you didn't necessarily feel comfortable with right away. So I just wanted to thank you for giving me the courage to apply to that position, even though obviously I don't have any years of data management experience. But really, the rest of the bullets I checked the box for, because it's kind of like a combination of folks that have like a PM background, project management background, as well as DM. So, and
Mm-hmm.
and you know me well, so my experience probably from the Accelerate team as far as knowing data interaction and stuff likely will help. And hopefully, I just had the interview yesterday, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll hear something positive soon. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for bringing that up. That gave me goosebumps, Joanna, honestly. But I didn't give you the confidence. I gave you the idea. You took the courage of doing it and gave yourself the confidence. So I applaud you for that, and I love the story. And I learned data management. So if you have another interview and you want to chat before that, and you need any ideas or encouragement, I'm here for you.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, we have to stick together. I love that story, John, and absolutely is what I tell people. I've talked to a lot of people that have been recently laid off, and the reality is that there's a lot of that going on in the industry, right?
Oh,
Um,
yes.
and the whole thing about don't dwell on the one point you don't have on the job description. Maybe you even have two or three that are not in your wheelhouse. And guess what? You're going to learn. Again, go with that open mind of learning and transform gaps into opportunities for you to be engaged and learning and really give it your all in the new job. And I love that. So either way, please keep me posted on what happens.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Sure. So, another thing that I've heard a lot recently in talking to some of my friends that are in jobs that they don't enjoy anymore, and they're potentially in their late 50s, early 60s. They just want to cruise through until retirement. That's what they say. Or I'm just tired, so I'll just play small. I deserve to rest. But guess what? When I really talk to them, that's not being said from a truthful how they feel. It's being said from a place of fear of the unknown, of I don't know, I'm just gonna stay comfortable where I am, even if I'm miserable. And in a different perspective, I even had this conversation with my mother last week. She is retired a long time ago. She's in her later 70s. Well, she's 75, right in the middle. But it was the conversation of stop saying that. You have so much to live for. Why put yourself in the place of just dealing with what you're dealt right now instead of looking for opportunities that will make you thrive. And that's the other thing that I really want to message where just have the courage to say, I deserve better and the rest will come because then you get that itch to look for not necessarily a new job, a new career, but new opportunities in the same place you are, if that's an option, or a new job. But really just having that curiosity to say, I deserve better. And that curiosity will take you then to the courage of doing something and will give you the confidence. So again, another action, if you guys want to do some journaling after this and make the most of it, is um, write down one stereotype about aging and rewrite it as a strength. The same thing I said before, where rewrite that gap of not having this experience as an opportunity to learn, rewrite the stereotype about aging into an opportunity for strength and using your superpower. Let's be honest. What will you do instead? And that's what I told my mom. Are you just going to sit at home and scroll? Like, how boring is that? Even in your mid 70s, just do something about it. And that's really a message that I wanted to share with you guys. So, where can you practice courage today? Start small. That's always a good one. Practice with a friend. If you have friends in the industry and you want to practice interviewing, or you want to practice and say, hey, this is what I'm facing and this is what I'm afraid of. Can we kind of role play and figure something out here? Or what would you do as your friends? Another great one is use ChatGPT. I did not use ChatGPT almost at all until I was out of the industry. And now I'm overusing it to the point that I just signed up for a summit on AI in November. I'm very much looking forward to it. But build a muscle. So you can go to ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT who you are, what you do, what is it that you want to role play, and ask ChatGPT act as a VP in whatever area and ask me tough questions to help me practice how to answer XYZ. You can even do it on your phone if you put the voice thing and go for a walk and chat to chat GPT like it's a friend on the other side of the line or that VP. Build a muscle, right? And then transform and shift that hesitation and shift from feeling you're not good enough to that calm authority that will come through in an interview. And this is just a summary. Take action, track progress. And that's part of what I was saying. If you journal and you can write down what lights you up, what brings you down, that's what we covered on the last webinar. Now, write down what steps are you afraid of taking? How would you overcome that? What would happen if you don't take the step? Because so many people think about, oh, if I take the step, this is going to happen and this is going to bring me down or whatever. But if I don't take the step, what's going to happen? I'm going to stay in the same situation I'm today and continue to be miserable. Maybe it's not that grave like that, but build your support. Again, there's so many people around you that are willing and happy to lift you. Avoid those people where every time you tell them something, they're like, you'll never do that. Oh, that's so hard. Oh, no. Avoid negative people. Hang out with positive people that believe in yourself, and that is going to build yourself again. Avoid the news. It's another one that I heard recently. When you're trying to build yourself, avoid the news because it's not necessarily that it's going to bring you down personally, but your whole mood for the day changes. And then again, renew daily. So this is a daily thing that you have to choose courage and choose action. And just practice on meetings. Just bring up a point or practice with friends, as I said, and to start building that. And if you don't have a friend that you can openly tell all your fears, use Chat GPT. So, what would you change in your career if you stopped waiting for confidence? And really, you can scratch out career and put life in there because there's a lot of that as well. And you led with courage instead. And it's the courage to push that transformation forward and the confidence that you will get there and you've earned it. And the confidence that if it doesn't go your way, it's a learning opportunity. That is just going to completely change your mindset. This is something that is pushing me forward in this new endeavor. And I really, really recommend all of you to look into that. Quick spoiler alert before my last slide. Next webinar, November 14th, will be on growth mindset leadership. It's going to be called, I believe, final title. I'm still working, but I think it's final for now. Leading with heart and edge. And this really came out from talking to a couple people where they felt they were told a couple times in their career or more than a couple times, you just need to be harsher to be a good leader. You're too nice, you're too kind. And how to get out of that and again, how to go about it in a growth mindset. So save the date and let me know if you want me to send you that as soon as I schedule it. And if this webinar, and I'm going to open it up for you guys to give me your thoughts and ideas, but if you want to continue the discussion, you can always schedule a free call with me. If you want to brainstorm ideas, if you want to use me as a sounding board, I love talking to women. It gives me so much learning opportunity And also, I love to help. This is why I'm doing this. So please don't hesitate to schedule a call, and we can talk about what's coming up for you. So I am going to stop sharing now, and I would love to hear from you guys if you want to share what came up for you during this. What do you take away? Is there anything that that made a difference for you today?
Well, I love that you talked about the superpower of that example that you gave. It's I have had never been told that I need to be more. I'm always a little bit too much, and uh, to have that instead of being the downside, lean into it and have it be the superpower of just being able to do things that other people um, tend to lean back from, um,
Hmm.
except for reaching out, like I was telling you. That's, that's my kryptonite, but I'm working on it.
Yes, use your superpower. Give yourself a cape, but like a virtual one. Or, I mean, Halloween is coming, right? So if you go around with a cape, nobody's going to think twice. Just say you're volunteering at some kind of Halloween kid thing.
It's perfect.
Excellent, excellent. Holly, wait, let me here. Taking the small steps and being mindful about actively doing it. Yes, absolutely. Starting small, it's always easier. So don't start with that big bad wolf that you're afraid of, or maybe do if you want to, but it's always better to just start small, build your confidence, and then you're going to be able to tackle bigger things as you go. Love that. Love that. Anyone else wants to share?
I mean, Vanessa, I was thinking the same thing as well, what Holly said, small steps. And I really like the one where you mentioned, think about how it went. If it went well, do more of it. And if not, think what you can do differently. Yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you.
Sure, sure. You again, use your superpower, right? Use the power of, instead of being down about it, holding on to that to say, next time it's going to go better. Let me learn from this. And that's how you build it up. One other person I was talking to felt really down because she had applied for so many jobs and gone through so many interviews and got rejection letters. And I said, what did you do about it? I mean, did you write down what you think went wrong and how you're going to do it different next time? And we started talking, and really the main theme was she was applying for everything that she could think of, not necessarily what she really wanted. And guess what? Interviewers could see that. So what went wrong? Not being passionate about what you do. Don't apply to 100. Apply to the 5 that you know you're passionate about. Learn from those and then go to next. So I love that. Absolutely. Okay. Anyone else? I think you all shared something anyways at this point. So in any case, thank you. Unless you have any other comments, questions for me? No? Okay. So you can also, you're going to get it in the presentation, but if you want to book a call with me to do more of this back and forth we've done here, more of this brainstorming, more of this just helping you build your confidence, the link is in the comments. So please go ahead and book a call. You're going to go into my little calendar and it's super easy. And then I'll talk to you. Make sure that as soon as you book it, if you don't get an email, go to your junk mail. The system's kind of funky sometimes. So go ahead and book it. Go to your email. If it's not there, go to your junk box. If it's still not there, message me and I will make sure we get together. I learn so much every time I talk to any all of you, that I'd love the opportunity to continue to do that. And save the date for the next webinar. I'm super excited about that one. I was excited about the confidence one until I started working on the next one, growth minded leader. It's going to be a lot of fun. So unless you guys have any other comments for me today, yeah, we're all good. Excellent. Thank you for joining. I will send you the deck and I will send you the recording. You were already here. You may not need it, but just in case.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Vanessa. Have a
Bye,
nice weekend.
everyone. Thank you so much.